Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Josh Wonders Why. We're so happy you are able to join us tonight or today or whenever you are watching this live stream. If you're new to the whole Josh Wonders Why experience, it's just a weekly discussion that I have with Pastor Kelly, just talking about whatever's on my mind, whatever's on her mind, or whatever we want to be tasting. So tonight on Josh Wonders Why, we're going to kick off the series on gratefulness. And tonight my question is, why should I be more grateful?
I'd be more grateful if we had chocolate.
Well, we had a bunch of chocolate last week.
We don't have anything to taste tonight.
I know.
Oh, well.
I mean, although you sort of ruined my understanding of white chocolate by saying that it is not
yes,
chocolate.
but then you looked it up and you said it is chocolate.
Well, Google A&I claims it is chocolate.
Yes.
But you may say it's the low quality chocolate that is used, or the cocoa
I didn't
butter.
say that. You said that.
Okay, I thought you said it was the lower quality, like Crisco or something.
No, that.
Like you were using a reference to like Crisco, if I recall.
Oh, right, but for frosting, yeah, the kind of
buttercream versus
yes,
that's right.
Yes, that was it. Anyway,
so anyways, I guess before we started, we did have Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hand out any candy? I think. Or
I did not.
Okay.
I was on a planning retreat last week, so
okay.
I was hunkered down by myself in a place that does not have any porch lights. And it's on a dead-end road anyway, so I don't think anybody would have come back there, but I didn't have a light on.
You were by yourself in this dark dead-end road, or?
Well, there are other places there, but it's not like people are going to be up and down it a lot.
Okay.
But, it's not really a good place for trick-or-treating. So no one came, which was good because I had no candy with me. I'd been like, how about a tea bag?
That was a toothpaste, right? So it is after Halloween, and I guess it's time to start decorating for Christmas, right?
Not yet. Not for me.
You know, there are 51 days until Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You better get started soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I do it the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay. So
that's my tradition.
So I put a poll out there last Friday for Finally Friday to
Yep.
ask people. And of the people that answered, the majority of people do decorate either immediately after Thanksgiving or between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So you're within the majority.
Mm-hmm.
There was one person that starts immediately after or sometimes between Halloween and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And one other person said they never took down their decorations, which more power to you. It'd make my life a lot easier if I didn't have to take the lights down every year. But okay, so you wait till after Thanksgiving. You start immediately after?
The day after Thanksgiving, when people are losing their minds at Black Friday sales, although that's not as much a thing anymore, thank goodness. I'm at my house with a Christmas movie on or music and putting up my tree.
So you don't start music until after Thanksgiving as well?
Well, that's been kind of the rule at our house, that we don't play any music until, like, when we would go somewhere for Thanksgiving, the rule was when we went on the way home, we could play Christmas music.
Okay.
So the past couple of years, I've kind of cheated on that, but this year I'm going to hold off. I'm going to stick to the rule because I just feel like I rushed into Christmas last year, and by the time Christmas came, I was like,
I'm
okay,
done. Okay, time for the next.
Everybody go home and put away the tree. No.
So I stumbled across the Christmas station yesterday on satellite radio, and they were playing Chicago Christmas songs. That was pretty good. I know that's your favorite.
The best Christmas album ever, Chicago 25. Yeah.
So we've been talking a lot. Got Thanksgiving. I guess tomorrow, if you're watching us live, tomorrow is the big election, and I think we can all be hopeful that Wednesday, no more commercials, no more texts, no more signs, kind of peace and quiet of all the
You know what I found
advertisements.
out?
What?
If you vote early, then the candidates will take your name off their mailing list.
Really?
Yeah, because
that makes sense.
Because it saves them money, because all that stuff's expensive. So I was like, oh well, that makes sense. That's a good reason to vote early.
There you go. So for tonight's discussion, Thanksgiving, elections, we've got holidays coming up. Those can be stressful times of year, especially the year with the elections and Thanksgiving both happening Thanksgiving. So our mind can tend to focus more on the negative. And did you know that's actually how our brains are wired, to focus on the negative? Mm-hmm. And it's called negative bias, and it's basically a protection mechanism that basically, if you think about it, we learn from our mistakes. We also be cautious for future, to think about what's the worst could happen to me, to be more prepared for future occurrences to be protected, right? Although studies have found that people are have much more good things happen to them than bad things. But we usually focus on the bad. Like if you think about it, I don't really review products like through Amazon or like through Yelp or something unless I've had a bad experience. Then I go on there and rant about, hey, service was horrible or this product was not good. I don't know if you do the same thing, but I find myself not doing any positive reviews. I mostly just do negative reviews.
I don't do a lot of reviews, but I do positive ones.
Really?
Like if I, not necessarily on Amazon so much, but like if I am shopping, like the artist or something, and then because I want to encourage them, so I probably wouldn't post anything angry. Unless they just downright cheated me. But, I like to encourage artists and so forth. I don't necessarily do it for Amazon. Because a lot of people do that.
I'll do like if I have it's mostly I'm motivated if I have a bad experience, that's when I'm motivated to be more apt to write a review. Now, most times I don't. And there's also funny, when I'm buying a product on Amazon, I focus more on what are the negative reviews less than on the positive reviews. If there's a lot more negative reviews, I don't want to buy this product.
Yeah. But I will read the reviews that are negative because I want to know why they're complaining. Because some people,
that's fair.
Like I ordered some tea from Amazon, and a lot of tea comes in boxes, thin little paper boxes, and so there was picture after picture of bent boxes, and they were complaining about it, and I was like, yes, it's a paper box and they're going to put it in an envelope and send it to you. If you want a pristine box, that's probably not the place to get your tea.
Yeah. What were you expecting? So it is interesting that we do focus on that. However, studies have shown that more positive things happen to us, but we're more wired to focus on negative, and we end to maybe artificially inflate the amount of negative experiences we have, right? So that brings us back to tonight's question, which is, why should I be more grateful? And overall, the studies I've seen, multiple studies I've read through, all of the studies have shown that being more grateful can be better for you, both your physical health, your mental health, as well as help build better relationships with others. So
makes sense.
Okay, well there we go. Problem solved.
All
We're
right.
done for that.
Yes,
You asked your question.
You should be more grateful because it's good for you.
But let's break that down. So we'll start with, I guess I always like to start being an engineer. Let's define gratitude. What is gratitude, right? Dictionary defines gratitude. No, I'm kidding. Gratitude comes from the Latin word gratia, which I think you can see in some other Latin phrases. Yeah. And it means grace, graciousness, gratefulness. And essentially, it's a positive emotion that can arise when you acknowledge that you have goodness in your life, and the source of some of that goodness rests outside of oneself. And I feel like that's important, where you have a positive experience, but you realize that it's not just because of you. It's due to something outside, through either other people, a higher power, fate, the natural world, something that you at least acknowledge that something else had an impact to give you this positive experience. And it's also being appreciative of what you have instead of always trying to reach for something new in the hope that will make you happier. Right? Trying to continue to go the next best thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be happy until I get this or that.
Right. Yeah. I feel like I just did a message on that not too long ago.
I feel like you did too. Yeah. So speaking of that, I guess, so that's the, we'll say a technical definition. The Bible has some good verses on gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
What have you found? I guess, what can you tell us about the Bible, or what can the Bible tell us about gratitude?
Well, a lot of the Psalms are songs about gratitude, being thankful. One of my favorite verses is in Lamentations in chapter 3, and it's basically the beginning of the hymn, Great is Thy Faithfulness. And, just thanking God for that God is faithful to us, and every morning by morning, new mercies I see, all I have needed, your hand hath provided. So it's that acknowledging, like you said, it's not my doing, it's what God has done, acknowledging that higher power.
It's funny you mentioned that song, because as I was preparing for this yesterday, I was singing that, but I realized, maybe longer than I should have, I was singing it, great is thy gratefulness. And then maybe hours later, I'm like, wait a minute, it's faithfulness, not gratefulness. But I was in my head as gratefulness. So it's funny you bring that up, because I was thinking that one as well.
There's a great story in Luke 17 where Jesus heals 10 lepers. And he says, go to the temple and, do what you need to do for being cleansed after having a skin disease, because that's all part of the law. And so they start off, they haven't been cured yet, but they start walking away, and then the cure happens. Mm-hmm. But only one of them turned around and came back and thanked Jesus. So be the one
to turn around and come back and think. Yeah, that's a good one. No, I forgot about that one, about the leper. Yeah. The 1 out of 10 that came back.
And then in Philippians 4, that's where Paul is listing all the good things and says, think on these things, and I think that's something that we have to train ourselves maybe to think of the positives and to dwell on that rather than dwelling on the negatives.
Well, interesting. So we got that. Now let's talk about, we mentioned some of the benefits. I want to get into more details about the benefits, what studies have shown about how being grateful can help improve your life. So we'll start with the first study I found, or a couple studies that said that the benefits have shown to improve your physical health. So there have been studies that show that grateful people, or people that express gratefulness, have fewer common health complaints. So fewer headaches, digestive issues, respiratory infections, dizziness, and sleep problems. There was a study I found that was conducted with college students who basically, there was one group that wrote about things they were grateful for once a week, and the other group did not, or 2 other control groups didn't. They found that after 10 weeks, the people that were writing, once per week on what they're grateful for, reported fewer physical symptoms compared to these other groups. So it is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Some other studies have shown that it does support heart health and lower blood pressure. There are some changes that can happen in your nervous system that allow your body to rest, to drive lower blood pressure, slower heart rate, and overall relaxation if you're less anxious.
Yeah,
right?
isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
How your physical body responds to
positivity.
Well, it's the mind-body connection.
Yes.
I do believe that the mind and the body are connected, and one influences the other.
So maybe that's as you have these physiological changes, maybe that helps drive the health, and you're more healthy and have less of these headaches and digestive issues.
Yeah, and then you can be grateful for that.
Yes, and it's just continually going after that, right?
It's a snowball.
So the one that's interesting is it does help improve mental health, and there have been a lot of studies trying to understand and try to justify that expressing gratitude can help improve your mental health and reduce depression, lessen anxiety, improve self-esteem and satisfaction with daily life. And there's 2 studies that I want to maybe chat about. The first one, and it's funny that all these studies are conducted with college students, but I guess these studies are done at universities, and what do you have a lot of? College students.
Yeah.
And what are college students? They're probably all stressed out, anxious, and need some support. So,
and if there's money in it.
Yeah, there you go. So one study looked at 300 college students, and all these college students were seeking some sort of mental health counseling at the university. They recruited these participants just before they began their first session of counseling, and they were on average reporting clinically low levels of mental health. So they randomly assigned the study into 3 different groups, right? The first one, they said, write 1 letter of gratitude to another person each week for 3 weeks. The second group, they said, write about their deepest thoughts and feelings about negative experiences. And the third group, they said, don't do any writing activity, right? Well, what they found is that the people that wrote about negative experiences or only received counseling, those who wrote gratitude letters reported significantly better mental health 4 weeks and 12 weeks after the study ended, which shows that practicing gratitude on top of receiving this counseling helps carry a greater benefit than just counseling alone, which is interesting. But the other thing they found is, which was interesting, is that this gratitude letter writing, helps improve your mental health because it shifts your attention away from toxic emotions such as resentment and envy. And when you write about how grateful you are to others and how much people have blessed your life, it becomes more considerably harder for you to think about negative experiences. One other thing that was interesting of this is that only 23% of those participants that wrote letters actually sent them. So it suggests that even if you write a letter and just put it away in your file cabinet, you still could potentially reap the benefits of the letter writing, which I found was pretty interesting on that one.
I'm interested in asking anyone who's watching, do you write thank you notes? Like if you get a gift or somebody does something for you, do you write them a thank you note? I'm just interested.
I don't write as much thank you notes as I probably should.
I mean, it's important to me, so I do it. I'm not the greatest at writing them, but I try. So, yeah. But I do want to say this, though, because if you're clinically depressed, just being grateful is not going to probably be enough.
Yeah.
So I don't want anybody to think that, if I just wrote thank you notes and stopped dwelling on the negative, then I wouldn't be depressed, because sometimes it's deeper than that.
Sure.
So it can certainly help. And if it's just like, if it's like a low level of depression just because, say, the change in the time, and it's darker earlier, and then this time of year the days are getting shorter, and so doing things like expressing gratitude and so forth could possibly help.
Yeah, there you go to help that out. Mary Kate says that she writes very few thank you notes anymore, but on occasion she does to some people. But to make sure to show gratitude to people in some other way. And we'll get to that in a minute, or in a couple minutes, about ways to show gratitude. So we got improving your physical health, improving your mental health. One thing is it does show that it improves relationships. So what the studies have shown is that it helps strengthen your ties with friends and loved ones and those in the wider community, because being grateful helps you connect to something larger than yourselves and realize that you wouldn't be there without the help of others. It helps connect. One other thing they found is that individuals who took time to express gratitude to their partner felt more positive towards the other person and more comfortable expressing disagreements or concerns about their relationship. So it helped with more healthy discussions by being more open. And if you express gratitude, you can have a stronger bond with that person.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then, so we got improved relationships. I mean, other one is employees are motivated to work harder if they do feel like they're more...
That is so true.
Yes.
That is so true. If you feel like you can never do anything right, then you're just like, why should I try?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good. And then the last one that I not considered, but there's a positive impact if a third-party observer sees the act of gratitude go on, it does impact them positively as well. Makes them feel better, and they will pass it on, be more grateful to other people as they encounter them. So there you go. There's the benefits: mental, physical health, improve relationships, motivate employees, and can impact people that are just watching you be thankful. Okay, so we talked about the gratefulness. So how can we actually practice the gratefulness, right? So one thing to consider is that all these studies that I've looked at, they show that only a small dose per day is ideal. So ideally 15 minutes per day, maybe 5 days a week for 6 weeks, and the benefits will start to unfold as you develop these long-term habits and promote a lasting change in your perspective, right? So one thought is to do gratitude journals, which basically you keep a journal and every day you write down a list of things that you're thankful for. And the studies have shown that actually writing helps slow down our thinking process and allows us to ponder this more deliberately of what we're writing down. It also is a permanent record of our blessings. And it doesn't have to be something major. It could be just a simple thing you're thankful for that day, right?
Yeah. I've read books about that. And now I'm completely blanking out because there's she's written more than one book, and it might come to me, but it was like 100 gifts or something. Somebody out there is going to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, she just started to write down every day, things that she was thankful for. And then she turned it into a book. And it would be, really simple things.
Yeah.
Like the steam rising from my mug of coffee,
Oh, yeah.
But it's just like when you take time to look for things to be grateful for, it not only helps you appreciate them, but, it affects you. You slow down and feel better. And yeah. 1,000 gifts. Is that it?
I don't know. If anybody knows, let us know. There's a story I read about somebody who they had broke their legs and had to be in a wheelchair for an extended period of time. And they started doing this great gratitude journal, and they started understanding to allow them to be thankful for what they could do and took the focus away from what they couldn't do, right? Being immobilized by being in the wheelchair. So I think the gratitude journal could go a long way. Other one, like we talked about, is thank you notes or thanking someone mentally. And you don't even need to tell them out loud. You don't need to even send them a note, as we said. It's still just writing it down and taking time to think about it and consider why you're thankful for this person helps you.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's just nice to shoot a text off to somebody.
Or a text, yeah. Thank you note. We're talking about notes, like old-fashioned, but I guess a thank you text, right? That's a better point.
Because the thank you note takes more time, and then, you have to find the card, and you have to find the address, and you have to find the stamp, and, but when you think of it, because sometimes I'll think, I'm going to write them a thank you note, and then I forget. And so sometimes it's just better to just take out your phone and shoot a text.
Yeah.
Just letting them know that you appreciate it.
So the thank you-ness, I guess one thing I did find, another thing is to, instead of just saying thank you, so I think one person brought up is that I feel like we're desensitized to saying thanks for everything, like, oh, someone brings my water, hey, thanks, or you say thank you for everything. And they said be more deliberate with thanking someone specifically for what was done, like a waitress or a waiter brings you your drink, hey, thank you for bringing my beverage, or thank you, like being more specific and not just blurting out thank you and as a reflex, but actually take time to consider why you thanking this person for what they did, right? Thought that was good.
I think also making eye contact with people when you say thank you.
That's a good one. Other things are for practicing are just praying or meditating on what you are thankful for of that day. I think there's certain prayer exercises you can do, right, to focus on what I'm thankful for and just think of things that you can be thankful for. Another thing is when you do get into a negative situation, try to change your thinking to redirect thoughts from the negative to positive. And I had this actually happen fairly recently. I had the bright idea maybe to go pursue early voting this past Saturday. And I was like, hey, no one else is going to go early voting on Saturday morning, right? At 9 a.m. So I've been putting it off for a while. And every time I went back there, drove by the early polling place in the past, there's a line out the door. I was like, that's 30 minutes. That's too long. I'm going to go home, right? It's like, okay, this Saturday I'm going to go. So I went to the local polling place. And long story short, I got through in about 2.5 hours. It took me forever.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
Halfway through, I was looking and I could see there were polling devices. There's plenty of space. I was like, they should have planned and had more devices. And there were the people working there, I was like, they're understaffed. They need more people. And I started getting all mad. And I started then watching the workers. So like, well, at least after 2.5 hours, I can go home. They still needed to be here, like basically bringing the card from checking me in to the polling device and back. So I was able to use this to maybe, instead of start thinking negative, I was positively just watching the workers saying, well, I'm thankful they're doing this job because even though they're understaffed, it's not their fault. They're doing what they can do, and they're not, they're getting it done. They have to stay here for the next 6 hours, whereas I can go home and rest for a little bit.
And, they may be taking their life in their hands, by doing that work.
Yeah.
It's a little scary. So.
No, it was sort of like a Disney ride in a way. So there was an initial area where the line was into this door, into another room. I go, this line isn't long, right? You get into another room, and then there's a snake. There's like five switchbacks. I was like, oh man. But as ours are so far in, I was like, I'm just gonna do this. To make matters worse, too, my cell phone only had 30% charge. So I was like, what am I gonna do for 2 hours?
Yeah, I know.
So I did a lot of people watching. It was fun.
Well, and that's what they say, you really shouldn't just put your face in your phone when you have to wait, to look around and observe that you're around people.
Yeah.
And, but I'm always wanting information. That's just like one of my things is I want to learn something all the time. So I do have my head in my phone a lot because, I don't have anything else to do, so I'm just going to be in here and I'm going to be looking things up and, and especially for an introvert, you're like, yes, I'm on my phone. Don't talk to me, I'm on my phone, But yes, Mary Kate, you're right. It's 1,000 Gifts by Ann Voskamp.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Mary Kate. So we got that. The other thing, so speaking of other authors, there's an author or a TED Talk that I came across last year, and it's by a guy named A.J. Jacobs. And he wrote a book, I think, called Thanks 1,000. Must be something with 1,000. So apparently everybody does 1,000 anymore. But he set off to take the standard cup of coffee he gets from his local coffee store and try to go down thanking everybody that was involved in the coffee. So he started with the barista, the person at the coffee place that picked the beans that went into the coffee, and then it went down basically, he had over 1,000 people to thank, right? The workers that picked the beans, but then also the people that laid the asphalt concrete for the roads to deliver the coffee. So it's just a nonstop. And what it came down to is it's an endless cycle of thankiness if you try to go down and think of everybody.
And then he ended up back in Indiana, or not back in Indiana because he's not from Indiana, but he went to Indiana to thank the steel workers for making the steel that made the truck that carried the coffee beans.
So one thing I take away is, struggling to just be thankful, just focus on some minor thing like a pen and just think, how many people can I thank? So I think he was first thanking them mentally, and then I think his kid challenged him, why are you thanking them mentally? You should go out and write thank you cards. I'm like, okay, I will try that. So I guess you can't think 1,000, but he did say, practice 6 degrees of gratitude. So maybe think 6 degrees down the line, who can I thank for this thing or for what I have? He did also mention another thing that cracked me up was that one of the comments he said was, fake it until you feel it. So at the beginning, he didn't really feel his heart was all into thanking people and the gratitude, but over time, as he continued to do it, he did start to feel more grateful over time.
Well, I picked up when he said savoring, that we need to savor things, because he was talking about the guy who tests coffee or something, and talking to him, and the guy was telling him how to sip the coffee, and and the guy would say, "Oh, I'm getting notes of orange and chocolate," and he was like, "I'm getting notes of coffee," But just that, taking that moment to savor, and sometimes I get made fun of because I like to savor what I'm eating, if it's like, like a piece of cake.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat it in 3 bites. I'm going to eat it slowly because I want to enjoy it and make it last longer. And
that's what they say, that's how you can get full faster or get full without eating
I'm
a lot
eating
of
the whole
food.
piece of cake.
Well, they said that people say, the study,
yes,
what they've shown
know.
is that, they say if you have the food in front of you, if you eat it slower, you smell it, you taste it, I guess your senses are more satisfied, with fewer bites.
And it takes a while for your stomach to register that it's full and tell your brain. But it doesn't matter how slowly I eat the cake, I'm eating the whole thing. But I am savoring it.
No matter how full you get halfway through, you're going to eat the whole thing
That's
right?
right.
So there you go. So you got a couple ideas of how to practice gratitude. So what does that all culminate in? So what I'd like to do and challenge this group to do is practice, we'll say, 21 days of gratitude. So between now and, 21 days from now, whatever that Monday is, I want to see what we can do about maybe daily practicing some sort of gratitude. So what I'm going to do is, starting tomorrow, I'll have a daily post just to say, hey, it's Gratitude Challenge Day 1. What are you grateful for? And it could be just a simple phrase. It could be a picture. You mentioned a picture of something you're grateful for. Maybe a meme or a GIF or something. Just something you're grateful for. But let's see what we can do to try to start thinking more grateful at least once a day. And we could use our Facebook group as an outlet, or maybe share your journey. If you're doing a gratitude journal or something else, let us know how you are trying to express grateful. But let's, as a group, let's try to practice 21 days of gratefulness, and just once a day be deliberate in trying to be grateful, at least for a little bit.
Yeah. And when we share what we're individually grateful for, then, we get to see what everybody else is grateful for, and then we're, well, I'm grateful for that too,
Yeah. So what I'll do is, the next couple Mondays of Josh Winters Why, we'll be following up. There's a couple other discussions we'll have sort of related to gratefulness or happiness, just to look forward to in the next couple Mondays. So next Monday, we'll talk about the old adage, does money buy happiness? Can it make you more happy or not?
Can't buy me love. So
there you go, can't buy you love.
The Beatles said, can't buy you love.
The next Monday, we'll talk about, does community or fellowship improve your happiness? And then finally, we'll end with, does religion and Christianity improve happiness?
Okay.
We'll discuss about that stuff.
Yeah, this sounds really good. I like the 21 days of gratitude.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Are you going to post the video too, the TED Talk?
I will post the video of the TED Talk, yes.
It was good.
So let's support each other. I'll start the conversation with these with daily posts, but feel free to add any posts you have as you get grateful throughout the week. Put any post on there. You can even post anonymously if you want, if you don't want to have your name associated with it. But let's try to fill up our group with lots of gratitude, and maybe fill up Facebook with lots of gratitude.
And if you're grateful for cats, you should put a picture.
Cats. Just cats, though. No other animals, right?
Oh, no. You can put whatever animal you like.
So there we go. So we got gratitude. We covered that. A lot of stuff to take in, but a lot of good discussion on why it's good for you and how to practice it. And I'll post a video of the A.J. Jacobs TED Talk about thanking 1,000 people. I guess we'll be back on Thursday. We have Digging Deep this week. So we're back on Thursday. What are we talking about? Do you know yet?
Revelation.
Revelation. I feel like we covered that in Josh Wonders Why. We got to...
Oh, gosh. We only scratched the surface. No, I'm talking about... Because today is All Saints' Day.
Yes. Okay.
And so I'm talking about what happens at the end of time. What does Revelation say?
Oh, okay.
Is going to happen at the end of time. And it's good. We can be grateful for it.
Well, there you go. Yeah. It's good. So tune in on Thursday to find out more about that. And I guess maybe in your Digging Deeps, you can also follow up with people, see how they're doing with their gratitude discussions. But we'll continue to do that. Again, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Kelly, for joining us tonight.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm grateful for your attendance here.
I'm grateful for all the work you put into this.
I'm grateful for all of you watching us. So there we go. We started off. So again, as usual, thank you for watching us, and we'll see you in the comments.
Bye.